Hey there, it's Tuesday, April 21st. This is your daily video devotional for Elevate 7-8, covering Acts chapter 9. We're glad that you're hanging with us, reading one chapter of the Bible per day. Keep with it. For tomorrow, read through Acts chapter 10. Now, Acts chapter 9 is a super important chapter in the Bible. This is one of these big turning point chapters because what happens here is we find out what happened to Saul. And Saul was mentioned a couple chapters earlier that he was persecuting Christians. He was watching as Stephen got killed with stones. And now in the beginning of Acts chapter 9, it says that he was so, the word is zealous. He was so angry at these Christians and so wanting to get them and beat them up and throw them in jail that he went all the way to Damascus, a city in Syria, and he got authorization to go door to door and drag out the Christians and bring them back and put them in prison. And you may know this story, that while he was on the road, he was blinded by a light, he was thrown off his horse, and God spoke to him from the sky. And he's blind for a while, he goes into the city, he regains his sight, and now Saul goes from someone who is willing to kill other people for following Jesus to willing to be killed for following Jesus. Because look what happens when we get to verse 26 of chapter 9. It says, when Saul came to Jerusalem, he tried to join the disciples, but they were all afraid of him, not believing that he really was a disciple. So now Paul had given up his status, his rank, his old life. He becomes a disciple of Jesus, and the disciples don't want to have anything to do with him. They're scared to death of him. They don't believe that he's sincere. He'll regain their trust, and he'll be an important part of the Christian movement, as we'll see as we read through the book of Acts. But the point is, becoming a disciple won't make you rich, and it won't make you popular. In fact, it may cost you something. So the obvious question is, why did Paul do that? Or at this point in Acts, he's called Saul. Why didn't he just hang on to what he had? He was kind of an important guy in the Pharisees, and the reason is because he believed it. Philippians 3 verse 7, whatever were gains to me, I now consider loss for the sake of Christ, is something Paul said near the end of his life. Whatever were gains for me, all the things that made me great, I don't care about those things for the sake of Christ, because God was important enough to him. Why would anybody follow Jesus? Why would anybody be a disciple of Jesus? Unless you cared about getting more of God. Paul did, and I hope you do too. Check in with us tomorrow. Read through Acts chapter 10. We'll see you then.